Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here today, my name is Odds and we are going to be discussing Miss Marvel as a series as a whole. I did not do breakdowns clearly for the series on my channel. I was focusing on Obi-Wan Kenobi and that was premiering around the same time. So this is just going to be my recap of the whole series, more so like a review than a recap. So if you're new here today, I do 2 videos a week. Beauty, vlogs, Star Wars, Marvel, DC. There's something on this channel for everyone, so be sure to stay tuned and subscribe for that. And if you like this video while you're watching, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Now, as a whole, I thought this show started off really, really great, and I was really enjoying it. But then I felt like the past 3 episodes just tanked the series as a whole. I don't think they were very compelling. I found myself kind of bored watching them. I don't know if it's like that I wasn't as checked into the series as I was checked into other series, but frequently I had seen that a lot of these series that I've done like recaps on, I would wake up in the morning pretty early and be pretty checked into watching it even though I'm really tired. But with this one, I don't know guys, I just didn't love it. I didn't like a lot of the changes they made to Kamala's powers. So that and just her in general. So spoiler warning for the series, of course. In the comics, she is an Inhuman, which they have pretty much retconned in the MCU. They don't want to do Inhumans, even though Black Bolt was in Multiverse of Madness. But it looks like they just wanted to throw that in to throw it in and get people off their backs. But it looks like they're focusing more on mutants than Inhumans because they're very similar. But basically, Inhumans, they have to go through a process to unlock their powers, whereas mutants have a mutated gene, so they're born with it, like how actual real-life mutations work, except like superpowers. So Bruno does a scan and look at Kamala's genes and figures out that she is a mutant. So once he says that there's a mutation with her, we hear the X-Men 97 score. The little theme song does play a little bit. And yeah, a lot of people thought they were going to make this decision. I didn't necessarily mind it, but I don't know how that really comes into play with like what her powers actually are, because they're focusing so heavily on this bangle. Now, let's talk a little bit about the bangle. Clearly, unlocking cosmic potential. So the focus of Kamala's powers are now cosmic versus like her Embiggen powers that she had before, which I think really doesn't do any justice to her as a character. I think her Embiggen powers are supposed to show that this is awkward and it's like she's an awkward character going through this awkward transformation through this awkward power set versus this cosmic radiation or this cosmic power set that she has. So she kind of has some of her Embiggen powers. They work through the cosmic energy that she is pushing out through the bangle, but she also like jumps around using little light pockets of cosmic energy. I don't love it. I just don't think it's very interesting. I think we have tons of characters that have these cosmic powers. We don't need any more. I think they make her a little bit more similar to Carol, Captain Marvel, which the similarities were already there to begin with. We didn't need them to be basically identical to each other. Obviously, Carol's powers are totally different, like, don't get me wrong, but the similarity with cosmic entities and just characters that can basically shoot lasers out of their arms, I don't love it. Like, I don't find it particularly interesting. Some things I did like about this series. I loved the characters. I thought everyone did a very good performance. I loved Kamala's parents. I thought they were great. Really believable as a family unit as a whole. That entire family was really believable as a family. Good job for the actors there. I think everyone did a fantastic job with what they were given. And I think the writing was fine. Nothing to write home about, but I think it was fine. But it's a big issue with the MCU right now, and there's a lot of stuff going around about VFX. But the VFX were pretty weak, and I think that they wanted to do cosmic powers. I saw somebody say this on Twitter, which I kind of believe, that they wanted to do more cosmic powers because their visual effects team, not the people working necessarily in the visual effects team, but the people who were in charge of like sending out visual effects stuff, were a little bit lazy, so they wanted to make it cheap and easier so they could just hire somebody at a cheap rate to just knock stuff out. So I don't love the VFX in this either. I'm having a huge problem with the VFX in Marvel. It's just not good. A lot of the stuff has looked really terrible lately, and clearly really rushed. I also thought the villains were a little weak in this. So there's big controversy that they used an actual, like, demon-like figure from Muslim, I don't want to say folklore, but Muslim cultural significance, as the villain, and made this just a magical sort of story, which, again, in terms of, like, Islam is not great. But I thought the villains were just weak. They pretty much defeat the main villains after they're introduced with, like, episode 3, and then they defeat them by episode 5, and then we're left with that department basically that deals with the superheroes. So we're left to deal with that as kind of the villain, which I don't have a problem with, like, the government being the villain, because well, but I just don't know if they're very compelling. There's not a strong character there that I think is really compelling. I don't know how else to say that, but I don't think there were very good villains in this. Hopefully she grows into her own and can come through with, like, better villains, because I know she's just starting out and she can't go through, like, a huge super villain. But maybe when she teams up in the Marvels, we'll see more of that. So she will be returning in the Marvels with Carol and Monica. So we don't know too much about the plot of that yet. I think it's supposed to come out next year, 2023. So yeah, it comes out next July. So that will be exciting. I'm excited for that. And let's talk about the mid-credit scene. So in the mid-credit scene, Kamala and Carol change places. I was a little confused as to what was happening. I had to kind of do some research on it, but it looks like they just switched places. So Carol is in Kamala's room, and she's looking around like, what is going on? Because she's in a fan of hers room. And she has a new suit, which I love. I think her look is great. She has her hair, like, partially pinned back. I think it looks great. She looks fantastic. I've missed Carol so much. So excited to see that. Excited to see how this ties into the Marvels, other than just Kamala being introduced. But we should see what they're up to and see how they can team up to take down whoever the villain is of the movie. But ultimately excited for that. Even though I didn't love this project, I'm still excited for the Marvels. I love Carol, so you know, I just hope that they can Marvel can maybe take some criticism that they have experienced over the past few months and make some changes that make it ultimately better for everyone moving forward. I think we need to definitely discuss the treatment of VFX artists by Marvel and by Disney, and I think we need to focus a bit on comic book accuracy. I think a lot of that is really important, and we don't want to focus, a lot of the MCU just doesn't want to focus on that in terms of story writing, storytelling, casting, stuff like that, and it's really important that we do. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Sorry if this video was kind of a downer. I didn't love this series, clearly, so but let me know what you thought on the series down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on Friday with a new video. Bye!